Mic check. 1 2. Oh, what is up, everybody? We're gonna get started here just momentarily. Our guest speakers are already in here with us in Discord, waiting and hanging out with us. Thank you. Huge shout out to each and every single one of you guys for being here. Guys, thank you so much for being here. First of all, welcome on in. Welcome on in. This is our very first time doing a talk show on Twitch, and I'm really excited about this. Today's theme is mental health and Twitch. We already have our special guests here, which we will be introducing them here momentarily. Before we start this, guys, I have a poll, and I need your guys' help with testing out. Make sure this works for us. We're going to be using this just as we intro into this topic, guys. So if you guys could do me a favor, go ahead and pull up this link. I'm going to test. I'm going to put it to you guys right here. We're just going to test out with this one right here. You guys see that? Where are you from? You guys see the where are you from right here? We're going to test this out real quick. Here is a link for you guys. Okay, go to this link. I want you guys to use this map. Click on the map of where you're from. We're gonna do a few examples here, just to see where everyone's from as we watch this, guys. Welcome on in. Mental health, for those of you that don't know, is a huge passion of mine. I know a lot of people know that I love to have fun while I stream on Twitch, and that is a huge part of what we do. But at the same time, we also have a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that you guys may not even know about. Look at this, guys. Look at this. We're gonna go ahead and bring up the pull up just a little bit bigger here. Wow, look at this. We're seeing where people are from. Take a look at this, guys, real quick. We got people from northern Canada. We got a couple people over from Europe joining us, all over the states. Awesome, guys. Welcome on in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. For those of you that may think what we're talking about today is just for, like, when people hear mental health, there's oftentimes a stigma behind it, right? People that do mental health are like the people out there that are crazy and insane, right? That's usually the stigma behind it. Is when you say, what is mental health? What does it mean? People oftentimes put the stigma to it of like, oh, if you talk about mental health or if you deal with mental health, that means that you're dealing with these crazy things. You're probably hearing voices. You're probably seeing things that aren't actually there. But in reality, guys, that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. This is going to be, I kind of did a little bit of an intro video here for you guys to watch, just to get a little bit of a sense of what we're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and play this so you guys get a little bit of better taste. Yeah. All right, guys, so as we talk about mental health, and you guys get a kind of a sense of the fact that we're talking about being here together, dealing with challenges, dealing with the struggles in life that are Goku's already crying. No, guys, for real. This right here is a sense, the goal of this today, The goal of this today is to help you guys understand that you are not alone in whatever it is that you guys are dealing with. The fact that you may be struggling or dealing with something, some sort of mental health aspect, also means that we're here with you at the same time, okay? Now, that being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about mental health, what this means to you guys. I have another question for you. So here we go, guys. We're going to bring up the next poll here. I want you guys to help me out with replying to this poll. The next quiz for you guys, just out of curiosity, just so we kind of get an idea of what it is you guys have as far as thoughts of mental health here. I'm going to bring up the next question. This one is, here we go. Let me give you guys a link here real quick. You guys a link to this next poll. All right, so the question, guys, is what percentage of people are affected by mental health each year? Okay, that is the question. What percentage do you guys think of people worldwide are affected by mental health each year? And we're talking about like the more clinical side, so the most serious side of mental health. This is going to be, as you guys can see, the statistics were reported, and my sources are cited right up there for you guys to take a look at. If you guys want to check that around, use that link, guys, and answer there. Use that link there and answer. Based off of this website that we use, this is an organization that studies clinical psychology and all that good stuff as well. Twilight, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Use that link, guys. Feel free to answer to the poll. As we do that, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this mental health at the same time. Mental health is more, the link is, link is not working. Hold on. Let's activate it. Let's activate it, guys. All right, go ahead and refresh it one more time. Let's get that link one more time here. Number 2, answer link. All right, guys, try one more time here. All right, as we do this, guys, as we do it, I want to talk a little bit about like what this mental health means. Mental health is more than just an illness that you may seem to face or that you struggle with. It could be anything as far as like doubting yourself. It can be as simple as like going into a job interview. Let's say you go into a job interview and there's a lot of stress when you guys go to a job interview, right? When you guys do that, there's a lot of stress that affects you mentally. Physically, you're exactly the same person outside the building when you walk in for the interview as you are inside the building. However, as you walk up to that building and to go into the door to that interview that you're gonna have, mentally, there is a world of change that happens, right? You go from feeling fine, like your normal self, to all of a sudden now you have external factors that are stressing you out a ton. And that's really what we're talking about here, that mental ability. At the same time, here's something that I love talking to people about, and when I first learned about this, I thought it was absolutely insane. As you guys are sitting at your computers or wherever you guys are right now, inside your head, you have a voice responding to every single word that you hear me say. Okay, this right here is what we call a head voice. And this is something that a lot of people don't really recognize very often, because when you think about it, if you're talking to yourself, that could kind of qualify as you as one of those people that are crazy, right? But the biggest challenge you guys will find in life is taking control of yourself, your own thoughts, what you tell yourself. More than anything else, your greatest limiter in life, guys, is your self-doubt that you guys express. And that's why as we go through this stream today, guys, I want you to be conscious of that voice inside your head responding to whatever it is that's being said. So you can kind of like start addressing that, start being aware of it. Head voice freaks me out sometimes, not gonna lie. Exactly. That head voice is crucial for when you start doing this stuff. Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close out the poll. The correct answer for people worldwide that deal with a mental health is gonna be 1 in 5 people. So out of every 5 people, there is 1. So answer B is correct. 20% are people reporting having significant mental health issues that they need to be addressed. Okay, now let's go ahead and go on to the next poll, guys. We're gonna do this brief intro before we introduce our guests here. Basically, it's just gonna be a 15-minute intro to this. Let me get you guys the next poll up here, and we're gonna activate it. So let me activate it before I send you the link this time. Okay, let's do this one more time. We're talking half of chronic mental illness, not just people that struggle with not just people that deal with mental health or whatever else like that. We're talking people that need serious health, okay? have a chronic mental illness begins by what age? Okay, let me go ahead and move this over. I'm gonna get you guys the answer link here. Plus, let me activate it first before I give you this link again. As we learned, you got to activate them before you actually send it out. Let's go ahead and do this, guys. Right here. This is what I wanted you guys to think about. By what age do half of all chronic mental illnesses begin by? Okay, it's not something that sometimes mental illness can be something that can be developed throughout time, right? Sometimes there's a certain instance, like we were talking about with that interview type of situation. Whenever you get that type of like stress and stuff like that, it can be the instigating effect that can cause something. So yes, they can be something that happens just spontaneously, something that causes someone to quote unquote break. You guys have probably heard that before. But at the same time, as people grow and develop, they become new things, right? The two things I want you guys to walk away from today. Change and risk will always be a part of life, okay? Change is inevitable. Risk can be a factor as well. Change and risk, guys, are two things I want you guys to think about throughout this entire thing as well, okay? Change, as we talk about it, guys, as we talk about this, being that change is inevitable and you can't stop it from happening, as much as sometimes you wish you could, it is better off, guys. It's better off to use that change for your advantage, right? To address it rather than just be in denial about it. So that being said, we're going to be focusing on this. So far, it looks like I bet you some people pulled up the website to look at the answer, didn't they? 14 years old is correct. By 14, guys, you are talking people that have just gotten into their teenage years. Half of all chronic mental illnesses beginning at 14 years old. That is so young. Okay, so this stream, guys, is not just for the people that are, I'm 32 years old, I should have it all together, I am early 20s, I'm still developing what I want to do for a career, whatever it is. When you're 14 years old, half of all chronic mental illness affects people. It's insane. It's absolutely insane, okay? Now, that being said, I want to do one last poll, guys. One last poll. Let me bring this up here real quick. This is going to be a little bit more personal for you guys here, okay? What I want you guys to do is answer this next poll for me. Let me go ahead and activate it here real quick. This next question, guys, it has to do with what symptoms have you guys dealt with for the majority of your life, okay? If it's something that's newer to you and you're still like not sure if you're really dealing with it or if it's developing or something like that, if you're not sure, maybe hold off on really talking about that. But let's go ahead and talk about, I want to know personally from you guys, what symptom or symptoms have you dealt with throughout the majority of your life? Okay, let's go ahead. Just kind of feel, if you guys struggle with anything at all, if you guys feel like you have it all together, props to you. You're ahead of whatever I am. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, guys. We're going to go ahead and please use that link. Go ahead and use that link. Talk to me about it, whether it's feeling lonely, whether it's feeling unsure, whether it's doubting yourself, whether it's feeling worthless, like what Reaper said, whatever it is that you may be like kind of dealing with in life. And these are completely anonymous, guys. Just so you know, we will not be able to tell who says what. This is not here to be like, oh, so-and-so said whatever. This is completely, oh, yeah, hey, you guys want the link? Let me get you guys a link. Thank you. Guys, I'm sorry. I put so much work into this, and sometimes I forget that there's more to be done. Here is the link right here, guys. There's the link right there. Completely anonymous. It will not tell us who said what, but I would love to hear from you guys, okay? I would love to hear from you guys on this. Now, that being said, we're going to go ahead and talk about this. Great. There's one person. We have loneliness showing up, worthlessness showing up, and then there's that. Having to jack off too much. You know what? That right there tells me that there's also loneliness in that too. So anyway, guys, as the answers come in, I expected some trolls here. Anxiety, depression. Okay. Not good enough. Exactly, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and lock it. I expected trolls to be here for today, and it's totally fine that there is. Sometimes you just get that, okay? Sometimes you just get that. And the attention behind it is just what it is. Now, that being said, guys, diagnosed with ADHD at 33. Good times. I feel you, man. I feel you. Now, that being said, I want to talk a couple things. You didn't let me answer. Dead forever. Go ahead and type it in chat, man. It's totally fine. Diagnosed with ADHD and autism since I was 4 years old. Yep. So you guys understand that there is more to this. It's very, very, very widespread for mental health, right? Very widespread. A lot of people deal with it. People on stream are also dealing with it or have dealt with it at certain points, right? If you don't deal with mental health yourself, most likely the chances are 99% of the chances are you know somebody else that does, right? You know someone else that does. Now, I want to talk a couple things for those of you that may not be aware of what it is you're dealing with. And for those of you, just so you guys know, I do have my special guests waiting for us in Discord. I'm going to do this last couple things here real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and bring them on as well. There's some warning signs that we're going to just talk about real quick that I want you guys to be aware of, okay? This is the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want you guys to be aware. If we can raise awareness, mental health awareness, if we can bring up, hey, this is a warning sign, we should watch out for this. Then hopefully it will help you in the long run to think ahead and be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, but I didn't even think it was like a problem necessarily. So these are some warning signs for those of you that are not quite familiar with what mental health may look like in certain situations. The first thing is feeling very sad or withdrawn more than 2 weeks. As an example, that would be like crying regularly, feeling fatigued, which is tired, feeling unmotivated, basically just like an apathetic of like, I don't care about anything, I'm not excited about anything, I'm not sad about anything. Like if you feel like that type of feeling, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys that deal with depression know exactly. They're relating right now. They're on that same level. Like, dude, I get that almost every day that I get up out of bed, right? That's going to be one of the big symptoms there. Trying to harm or kill oneself or making plans to do so. Out of control, risk-taking behaviors that can cause harm to self or others. Sudden overwhelming fear for no reason, sometimes with a racing heart. A physical discomfort of like maybe tensing up, feeling cramps, feeling pain that may not even really be there. Or fast breathing. How about not eating, throwing up, or using laxatives to lose weight, significant weight loss, or weight gain? Is also another big thing to watch out for as well. The last few things we're going to bring up right here is that there's also watch out for severe mood swings that cause problems in relationships, repeated use of drugs or alcohol. Those are called coping mechanisms, very unhealthy coping mechanisms that kind of groom you to respond to a certain way, right? Drastic changes in behavior, personality, or sleeping habits, such as waking up early, not being able to sleep, feeling so withdrawn, and that melancholy of like just whatever happens and I don't even care. So like your sleep schedule doesn't even matter because you're not out doing anything. Also extreme difficulty in concentration or staying still that can lead to failure in school. That being an example for those of you that are still in school, if you see classmates who are sitting in class and you know that they're an intellectual person and that they can handle more challenge, and they sit there and they don't do anything and they are not responding, they don't do their homework, whatever it is that may be going on, know that behind the scenes, there is stuff that you guys don't even know about. There is stuff that is influencing their decisions and their reactions to school. It's like you can't judge a book by a cover, right? If someone's not doing well in school, you still need to understand that they're still a person and there's something more going on behind it. That's what I love about my wife as an educator. She does that. She tries to go in and try to figure out what's going on and deal with those. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about, guys, is intense worries or fears that get in the way of daily activities like hanging out with friends or going to class. This could be anything from anxiety of the fear of being accepted, the fear of rejection, the fear of losing somebody, the fear of not even being good enough for this person or whatever. You guys see what I'm talking about? Like these are all signs that we need to be aware of. Okay, if you guys deal with any of these signs, please don't just let it slide. Don't just let it slide. There are tools for you to find and professional mental health experts out there. Okay, this stream is not here to be able to provide professional grade advice. We're going to be basing this off of stories of streamers, and we're going to focus more on how Twitch can impact you. Okay, now guys. Seriously, this is amazing. This is amazing because we have people in here engaging in chat, willing to share what they've dealt with, what they've experienced in life. That's why that mental health intro is so huge. The fact that you guys are here means a ton to us, not only myself, but these guest viewers that we have as well, because you're showing support in that, but also it creates an environment that helps you realize that you're not alone. You're not going to be going through this life alone. You're not going to be like having to struggle with whatever it is that you may be struggling with. The fact is we are here in this together, and that's what's amazing about Twitch is we get to utilize a resource like this. So that being said, that being said, we're gonna go ahead and do an intro into our guest speakers. Guest speakers, thank you so much for letting me go over a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick intro video so you guys get to kind of see behind the scenes of who these people are. We tried to make this a little bit of fun. I don't want you guys to be down and depressed during this whole talk show that we're doing. So we try to make it a little bit of a fun video, guys. Please feel free to enjoy this.
Hello everyone, my name is James. I am also known as Crazy Biker Dude.
So my name is Goku707 or Matt.
Oh, hello there. Hi guys, it's Rebirth Gaming here, aka JJ and IRL.
Hey guys, Darkslayer313 here, also known as what's up, dude? Dark Limbo 313. Professor Slayer.
I've been streaming on Twitch for about 7 months, and what really got me into wanting to stream is I used to watch a lot of Summit 1G. Been watching him for a little over 5 years now, and Dr. Disrespect, and playing a lot of Diablo 3, and I wanted to interact with those streams, and which I did. And it gave me the opportunity to want to pursue something like that, and here I am.
I've been on Twitch for about 3 years now. I started the first year just as a viewer, made a bunch of friends, decided to take the leap myself, and part of the reason was to be more social because I do live with social anxiety every day.
I first got into streaming when I played Infestation Survival Stories. One of my friends said, "Oh, have you ever thought about streaming this?" I was like, "What's this streaming you're talking about?" Then I looked at Twitch, got into it, and ever since I've been really enjoying it.
I got into Twitch just originally with Destiny 1. I did trials and raid carries for a year, I guess. And then switched over to Warframe. So now I stream Warframe pretty much full time, mix in some Destiny here and there. And I really try to foster an accepting environment in my community.
I've been streaming on Twitch for about 2 years, probably more full-time-ish, close to. I got into Twitch because of a game that I played that a lot of you guys probably are familiar with called Warframe.
Another fun fact about me is that I'm very hyperactive, very bubbly, but there's a little dark secret. When I'm playing Warframe, a lot of you may know, I go down a lot because I'm still new to the game. So it's still kind of funny because you get to come and watch me rage.
Fun fact about myself is I do BMX. I ride BMX bikes.
Just try to have fun. That is my biggest thing. Where life is so difficult for a lot of people. When we get on Twitch, it's supposed to be a bit of an escape from reality.
I want to give you a little something unique about my stream too. I stream primarily Warframe. I just go about helping people. My uncle gave me the inspiration to want to do this because he has cerebral palsy and has one hand to play with. And it's very hard for him to understand how to play and have so much patience, and people wonder how. And he's my inspiration. So shout out to my Uncle Chad.
I came to Twitch as a way to find people that could potentially be interested in learning how to do raids with me, playing games, grinding, all that good stuff. Something unique that you wouldn't probably see in other people's channels.
That it says in my profile is, this is a safe place.
I decided to get involved in this event in particular is because I suffer from depression, anxiety, and social anxiety, which just changed my life. This event is going to be a good way of people getting their voice heard and understanding that they're not alone out there.
And I try to give people a chance. I think that's probably one of my biggest weaknesses, but also something I view as a strength. I give people a chance. I went to school for psychology. I have an associate's degree in psychology and behavioral science. It's something I'm very passionate about. So if I could be a part of any sort of thing that helps someone with this, like it's helped me, I'm all about it.
I decided to also participate in tonight's event because I've also been down the path of what we're talking about, on which we'll go into more detail when we talk, but I've always wanted to help other people, so this is a really cool thing we're going to be doing tonight, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Overall, the main reason why I would even consider hosting an event like this, it really can be summed up with one word, and that word's opportunity. Opportunity for people to share their stories, opportunity for people to learn from those stories, and an opportunity for people to take a skill set that they may not even considered as applicable in a certain way before to now kind of change your thinking on it and be like, oh, this is a great tool for me to now use. Overall, I don't know what to expect from tonight. I don't want to put boundaries on what could happen tonight, but I do know that I owe a major thank you to my mod team for helping me plan this event. I owe a big thank you to the streamers and the other participants who are willing and vulnerable enough to let their voice be heard from this as well. So thank you to each and every one of you guys. Here's to a great night.
Hey, how's it going? I'm happy you can come by. Sorry.
How's it going?
Oh my god, and we're also muted, guys. I promise you I'm a professional streamer. We're introducing everyone. That was Goku first. James followed there. Rebirth, our last guy. Rebirth, welcome on in. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for being here. We're going to go ahead, if that's okay, Goku, can we start with you? Are you okay with kind of starting up right now, giving us a little bit of insight to your story, where you've come from, what you've kind of dealt with? Let me preface this real quick to kind of like change your thinking a little bit as far as like how we're going to be doing today, guys. You know how we can talk about like there are different aspects of life, right? You have your career, you have your personal relationships, you have Twitch, you have your fun times, you have all sorts of different aspects of your life, right? Tonight, guys, we're focusing on your mental health history. So basically, what you've gone through in life, how it's influenced your mental health, what you've been dealing with, and everything like that. Okay, so before we get to the tools of like what people use today, we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna take a little bit of a time teleporter with us. So get ready, guys, buckle in, because it's gonna be a little bit of a bumpy ride. We're gonna go ahead. Goku, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
How far back do you want me to go? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of a nerd, always have been. So, you know, growing up in the 90s, I came along with the teasing and always been a little bit overweight. So I've always felt picked on and kind of just shunned aside. So that's where a lot of my issues kind of stem from. As I grew up, I got into sports, and that really kind of helped cope with all that stuff. And then school and being good at school was something I really took pride in, and then went to college. I've had ups and downs where, like, you know, you have a good few months and then you get sucked back down, and they didn't really have tools to deal with it until I got into my 20s, to be honest.
How old were you when you started college?
Well, I started college right after high school.
Okay,
so
perfect. So you went straight
18.
in with 18. So you started when you were a teenager and all that. So basically, you started college and you said you didn't really have the tools to deal with that sort of mental health that you were dealing with until you got a little bit older. Okay, awesome. Tell me a little bit about what were friendships like for you growing up as well? What were relationships like? How about that? We'll go with relationships.
Like a romantic relationships, or just in general?
Just in general. Like, I should also preface this, guys. When I say relationships, a lot of times people may assume that that's romantic. When I say relationships, I have a relationship with you people on Twitch. Like, you guys are here, we're hanging out. I have a community of people that I have relationships with. We're talking just kind of like relationships in general today. And I'm kind of curious if there's any like relationships that stand out in your head that impacted like your mental health growing up.
Positively or negatively right now?
Both.
Both.
Either or. Just whatever stands out to you.
I know for a fact, like, through all the therapy I've done with, a lot of my issues stem from my parents getting divorced when I was 3 years old.
Oh, 3. Wow, that's young.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it, but, you know, the behavioral patterns were already laid in. I've kind of been dealing with that as I grow. But I've had coaches, I've had teachers that I've bonded with that have helped me at certain points in my life. A lot of my romantic relationships were very codependent and insecure attachment to the other person. And then I didn't know how to deal with like emotional heartache or emotional pain very well, so I like shut down a lot, and so it caused me to go in and out of school because I couldn't deal with my life pressures and balance school at the same time. So like, stuff like that.
That totally makes sense. So for those of you that don't know really what he's talking about, when he says the words codependent, it's a great, the way I would kind of visualize this for you guys is imagine having two people that can't function really on their own, but they fuel into each other. So they need each other to really thrive and survive. Not thrive, they would survive. I would describe it more as surviving. And you kind of fuel into one person and then they fuel back into you. And it's very, it can become very, very, very unhealthy if you let it go too far. And so that's something you always want to watch out for, is that lack of independent ability, the ability to be independent and have your own identity apart from whatever person that you're in a relationship with, and to some degree, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have that moderation in everything in life for the most part. So that's interesting. So you had a lot of unhealthy relationships from your experience, and it sounded like some bullying happened along the way as well. Can you talk briefly about, I want to give them a little bit of preface because we're going to come back to this. In my Discord, when you posted saying that you were interested for this event, you said something about like you got a degree in psychology and you were curious about this because you said something about like Twitch not being the ultimate answer to help fix the issue, right? Can you say more about that?
Yeah, so what I mean with that is Twitch is kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to coping. I think a lot of us, or me in particular, I guess I should say, when I first started Twitch, would just get sucked in and just watch for hours and, you know, shirk my responsibilities because I felt accepted and welcomed in chats, and it was a very positive, good feeling, but I wasn't doing anything with it necessarily. I was just kind of escaping the problem. And so as I watched Twitch, I started meeting more people and started talking about my issues, and they started pushing me to start doing stuff about it. And once I started doing actual like physical things in my life to really work on my anxiety, I really started seeing the optimal results. So I had a place to go when I was overwhelmed, but that was more of a time to just come back down to myself and then go do what I needed to do. Okay,
that makes complete sense. So we're gonna address this later on in the talk show, but for now, I want to go back. Let's circle back real quick to what it is exactly you were dealing with, and kind of name the thing. Now you mentioned that you were getting bullied because of being overweight. How did that impact you? Like, what did that look like in your life?
Like how it like transgressed into my life.
Yes.
You know, insecure, not feeling good enough to be like embarrassed to be in rooms with people because they were thinking, you know, maybe they weren't saying them, but they were thinking those nasty things that have been said to me before.
Right.
But you know, ultimately you realize that that's all just that voice you were talking about in the intro.
So like you had, it really impacted your self-doubt a lot, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did that, I'm just curious, did it expire? Did it go so far as to kind of get you to the point of feeling depressed?
Oh yeah,
for sure. Okay, so how deep did that go? Did you withdraw from people?
Yeah, that's the typical reaction. Is I don't know. I had there's a two kind of sided coin when it came to it. It depended on the person who I was interacting with. If I didn't know them, and they said it just made me feel bad about myself. If it was somebody I knew and was close to, and they started talking to me like that, I would try harder to get their acceptance.
Okay.
Rather than just backing away from a toxic person.
Okay, that makes complete sense. So basically, you wanted to prove to yourself that you were worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes complete sense. And I think that is something that a lot of people really deal with as well. Guys, have you ever been, and you guys don't need it, this is a rhetorical question, you don't have to answer. Have you ever been in that type of situation where you're like, I need to prove that I'm worth something, and maybe you don't like say that to people? Nobody says that to people. What it transcribes into is your behaviors and actions in that relationship. You go above and beyond. Let's say like you let them use you for whatever it is that you have. Oh yeah, they like me because I have a Nintendo Switch. Let's just say that. Now granted, then you like become their friend, and you let them play their Nintendo. You let them play your Nintendo Switch and all that good stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's that constant need to get approval from people, and that's something that a lot of people really can struggle with. And that's very prominent, especially in Goku's story. So Goku, at what point in life did you get to the place where you're like, did you? Maybe let's start there. Did you get to a place where you were like, man, this is unhealthy and it's something that needs to change?
Yeah. It was about 3 or 4 years ago.
So very recent.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. What did that look like? What happened?
Well, I got into a toxic relationship with this girl, and it ended roughly, and was like emotionally tangled up, I guess. And I got into such a deep depression that I was actually considering suicide. And it hit me one morning when I woke up, like after I had a really close like encounter with the depression. Like it was like 3 a.m, and I was like really considering just swallowing a bunch of pills. And because I just couldn't process what was happening inside my head.
Yeah.
And luckily,
because you were doing this all on your own, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Luckily, I had my now current girlfriend as a friend at the time, and I called her in the middle of the night. She came over and just stayed with me until the morning. And then the next morning, it was just like this weird moment of clarity. It was like, man, this is not, why am I this upset over someone I've only known for 6 months?
Okay.
Like, there's something else going on in here. And that's when I started getting therapy.
That makes, yeah, I see that. Now, guys, do you see the cycle here that he just mentioned? Look at this. Like, we just talked about how those warning signs literally just minutes ago, right? Now, if you start addressing those warning signs before you let them build on each other, you're not going to get to as bad of a place eventually. Now, take his example for a moment, guys. The first thing that we need to be aware of is that withdrawal from people, right? He had that codependent relationship that he was talking about. Tell me if I'm correct or not, Goku. Did you kind of keep other friends involved while you were in a relationship with that toxic person, or did you make it just basically yourself and her?
It ended up becoming just me and her through my need and her manipulativeness. It was a combination of perfect storm type shit.
Yep, exactly. So it went from two individuals helping each other grow in life to all of a sudden now they've isolated themselves to where it's only Goku and his previous toxic relationship. Now, guys, when you have no support system, what happens if your current network fails? If something happens to it, you have nowhere to go for support. You don't have anyone to help you. So what happens when you have that crack happen? They broke up. He realized that, man, goodness, I gotta fix this, and he doesn't have a support system. Then he starts initializing it on him. He internalizes it on himself, right? And so he went from that initial withdrawal to the event happened, and now he's got to deal with it himself. And because he didn't have that support, then he had to try to find ways of coping with it. And the initial response, I feel like this is such a normal initial response. When you get to the point of feeling so alone and isolated, it becomes very, very hopeless. And that's why the obvious answer, the easiest answer at that point is the pills, right? Like that's the thing that pops to the mind. But then what kept you from going there, Goku? What kept you from choosing that?
Well, the fact that she came over, Mandy came over in the middle of the night was just kind of put that. It was the first time I thought in my head, like, wow, someone's willing to do that for me. I must be worth something, and now I need to figure out what that is.
Guys, this right here, you hear that? He had one. It literally took one person. It took one person to change Goku's life, showing that support. One person. Right now, we have 113 people watching this, guys. Be that one person. Be that one person for someone that you can help for real. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. We have such a massive opportunity here, guys. Goku, thank you. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. Thank you for being willing to share that, man. For real, guys. Can we just say thank you to Goku in chat? For real, guys. This takes guts to share this type of stuff. All right, we're going to go to Mr. Crazy Biker Dude. Mr. Crazy Biker Dude. I want to hear a little bit about your story, man.
Well, you mind telling me the question again?
No, sure. Absolutely, dude. So what we're talking about right now is we're just going back. The way I like to phrase this is like there are several different aspects of life, right? You have your career, you have your relationships, you have your family, friends, all sorts of stuff like that. We're going to be focusing more on that mental health aspect, okay? So we're going to be talking about your mental health ability, your history a little bit. So just tell me a little bit about your history, what you've dealt with that influenced your mental health throughout your life. You can start wherever you want.
Well, it pretty much actually just started in middle school, being
Okay.
at such a young age, trying to actually develop something for yourself and make a name for yourself throughout school. And being that skinny kid who's so quiet, shy, kept to himself, and didn't really know what to do in terms of trying to interact with other kids in class and make friends and push through. Well, I was always alone and by myself. So that's when bullying started.
Okay.
I always try and find that host to alleviate some of their, anger the other kids might have. They pick on you, they find your weakness, they just pick and choose whatever it is that they find that they think is funny about you.
Right.
And that's how it was with me in middle school. Is I was just that alone kid that kept getting picked on.
Okay.
And it drove me to the point where I just didn't feel like anybody wanted to be my friend. Like
Mhm.
nobody even tried.
Right.
Not a single person tried. And it got so bad, it's just I didn't even want to go to school, which I ended up
Mhm.
still going to school. But it was the mental note in my head, like that voice is telling me, like, nobody wants you. Like nobody wants to
Right.
be your friend. You don't deserve this.
So you were
And-
basically present but not engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So and that's something that you see everywhere, guys. It's like that mental.
Absolutely.
It's that empty shell. Just because someone's there doesn't mean they're necessarily engaged. And this is exactly what we're talking about. So go ahead, James.
But it made me feel so alone, and
Yeah.
I resorted to playing video games.
Okay.
So it really alleviated a lot of my stress, a lot of my loneliness, and kind of made, I guess you could say, friends with the characters in games that I would play. And that was really all I had as far as a friendship, was over a fiction or a non-fictional character, fictional character, I mean. And that was really all I had to give me hope, was to just play video games.
Okay.
And that's really all I had, was myself and video games. That's all I could do all day, every day.
Gotcha.
Never had time to want to go out and play outside because, I was still so afraid of interacting with people, the reactions I would get from people, or just how people would think of me.
Mhm.
And as I got older, into high school, it started to change. I started to stand up for myself more and realize, like, you know what? You can't put up with being bullied and made fun of your whole life. You need to do something about it. So I ended up doing something about it and defending myself, made a lot of friends, but it still haunted me, the fact that I suffered from depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, and didn't want to feel alone. I just wanted people to be there.
Mhm.
And I made that connection in high school, and it started to grow as I got older and out of high school.
Mhm.
And it started to get much better for me and feeling more, let's say, of myself and learning more about myself when I started streaming on Twitch and just got to meet so many different people. I got to learn so much more about myself. Like, I broke more out of my shell, and
Okay.
I'm so much more open to talk about things. And Twitch has really changed my perspective on how you should go about changing your life and changing the negatives to more positive.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Before we go any further, Captain Warlock says, "Wow, that's exactly what I'm going through at the moment." So your story definitely touches people out there that's listening, which is awesome. It's awesome. It's the only reason why we're here, guys. We're here to try to give you guys examples of like what's going on. Everybody has a different experience in life, and if there is one person today that we can kind of encourage by the end of this, then today's event was completely worth it. I will hands down say for myself, I won't speak for the other streamers, but I will say for myself that if there is one person that leaves today feeling filled more with hope, feeling more like maybe I can do this after all, then today has been more than worth it, and I will walk away feeling completely satisfied. That being said, James, let's talk a little bit more about your past. You brushed through it pretty quickly. I want to talk real quick again. Let's kind of rewind a little bit. Go back to that. I want to go back to a comment you made, actually. You said,
Okay.
In middle school, I was that skinny kid. Were you made fun of for being skinny?
I was.
Guys, can we just take a second here? Just please take a second and think about this. What was Goku just made fun of? He literally just said what he was made fun of. Being overweight. What was James made fun of? Being underweight. Where are you supposed to be? Guys, people that don't understand the worth of other people will always find a way to pick on you, right? There is no like, oh, you're the perfect person. There's always things. It blows my mind like that. This is why you guys have a chance to be like, when you hear those negative thoughts or negative sayings from other people, just realize people are always going to find some way to belittle other people to make themselves feel better, right? That's kind of what James experienced. Now, James, with that experiencing in middle school and high school, and the fact that you felt so alone, you mentioned that when you got to high school, you said that you started sticking up for yourselves a little more. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yo, absolutely. Yeah.
What caused that to change? Why did you decide? What made you wake up one day and be like, boom, I need to change something?
You know, I, like you said, I just woke up one day and decided, you know what? It was the first day of high school. And I just thought, you know, it's a fresh start.
Yep.
I got 3 years of this and I want to make it the best that I possibly can. And kind of realized that life is what you make it.
Okay.
And you have to take the initiative and put the foot forward to make the changes in your life to make something better for yourself. And that's what I did, is I decided, you know what, today is the day that I stand up for myself. I can't help that I'm skinny. Can't help the person that I am. And just went from there. I decided, you know what, it's time for change. I need to stand up for myself. And I want people to know that I mean business when it comes to making fun of somebody. You should never do that. Like, you don't belittle somebody because they're different from you. And that's exactly what I did, was stood up for myself. You know what? Very first day.
Yeah. You know what I love? You just gave me a great example that we're going to go off real quick. So James had that event. There's something that happens that cuts off, like, you have your life going, you got your life going, everything's going exactly how it is. And all of a sudden you have an event that chops it in half, the path in half, and says, you know what? Something's going to change. You know what's crazy though? Guys, every moment of your life can be that event that you need to make those changes. Okay. Now that being said, here's what I want you guys to envision for me real quick. Okay. Envision this for me. I want you guys to envision you're standing on the closest side of the room that you're in. I want you to envision yourself walking down to the other end of the room and then walking back to this side of the room. Where were your footsteps? Where are your footsteps? They're not there because they're gone, right? The moment that you have control over is not the past. It's not the future. Literally what you guys have control over is this second right now. This second right now can be that moment of James waking up in high school and being, something needs to happen. You don't have to wait for a major event to happen. You get the choice. You get the chance. We are all given the chance to reinvent ourselves every second. Change, like we said at the beginning, guys, like we said in the beginning, change is inevitable. You cannot stop change. It's better. It is so much better, guys. Use that change for your advantage. Okay. You get to use this moment that you're in right now to redefine yourself and who you're going to be. If you've done stuff that you didn't like before, that you wish you wouldn't have done before, make the change. Not going to do that anymore. Boom. Change done. Now there's obviously a lot of work and self-control and discipline that goes into making sure that change sticks. But the example that James just gave us of, he woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm gonna need some change happening. You guys have that chance. You guys have that chance to have that. James, what did you change about yourself to kind of to go from accepting the bullying to then not accepting the bullying and changing the way that affected you?
Well, knowing my uncle, you know, him having a disability, as I got a little bit older into high school, and I realized that day that, you know what, I just can't put up with this bullying anymore, and decided to make that change. Was that, like I said, my uncle having the disability, he was made fun of too in school, and the stories he would tell me, or my grandmother would tell me, and it got me thinking, like, that shouldn't be a thing. Just because someone is different from you, it doesn't mean that you have to belittle them. They're their own person. Just leave it the way it is. Make friends.
James, let me ask you this.
Acquaintances.
Why do you think people belittle other people that are different?
That's a very good question. They're scared of something that they can't accept. In my honest opinion, they must be afraid of something that they cannot accept. And so they have to take out their anger or hatred for something they can't accept onto somebody else.
And you know what I love? The assumption about people that make fun of people that are different, guys. It's the fact, the auto effect. They assume that they're right. They assume that they're the correct version out there. What? Who gets like that thought process of I have it right and everyone else has it wrong? Where does that even come from? You know where it comes from? Is trying to feel secure. Exactly what people are saying right here is that they feel insecure about themselves, right? They haven't come to accept the fact that they are who they are, and that's just what they get, right? That's what they get. That's exactly what James was saying there. I love it. This is a great example, guys. When people belittle you, realize that you have the power to not only the first step of that is to negate that. You don't have to take exactly what James was saying. James, can you say that one more time? What were you saying? You don't have to accept it. What did you say?
Well, they're not accepting themselves, so they're not accepting an insecurity of themselves, so they feel the necessary need to take it on somebody else.
Right. And that we as people, I can't remember how you phrased it. It said that we don't have to accept it, what they're saying as truth, right? Something along those lines. And the fact that that's step one, right? You don't have to be like, I do not accept that as true, because their thought process is completely flawed in that. Secondly, you guys, for those of you that are able and more secure in yourselves, if you guys are, everyone's on a different path, and I don't want to assume that everyone's right where you need to be, but as Goku was mentioning earlier, and as James kind of talked about today, they've already had that breaking point where they've changed their mindset about that. They say, I don't have to believe what other people say about me. I'm going to be my own person, and I'm more secure in that. Not only can you say that that's not true about yourself, but you can also start to realize that they are people. They're a person searching and in need of something. Okay, that's why anytime anybody comes on my channel, and I love that Goku said this as well, I actually kind of want to talk to him about this. He had mentioned something about how people come on the channel. Goku, what did you say about remember how you said something about giving people a chance and you don't ban right away? What's that mentality that you have?
Well, that's just like, I don't know. I kind of view when people come in and they're just blatantly disrespectful. I kind of feel like a lot of people act a certain way because they've never been checked. People just take it. So you're just like, hey, that's not okay. I'm going to give you another chance to be a normal human being. And, either they're going to be like, okay, hey, I'm sorry. I was just joking. I thought it was funny.
Right.
A lot of the time people don't realize the effect those jokes have on people. Like, derogatory terms that people like to throw around on Twitch like it's nothing.
Right.
It's like, you don't understand what that feels like for someone who's affected that way.
Yep. That's awesome. And that's the type of mentality that doesn't always come naturally. Okay, guys. Now, what I want to challenge you guys in is take this mentality that Goku has for his stream, try to apply it in life. Like, how crazy is that? Like, it's like taking an example of this person came in and said, I'm going to use Goku. Do you mind if I use you as an example?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to take this as an example, guys. So Goku somebody comes up to him and says, Goku, you're overweight. Now, he has a chance of either taking that as fact and having it impact him personally, or number two, negating it, saying that's not true. I'm exactly fine how I am because it's not causing me any health problems, and etc. Whatever. He takes
personally,
that.
I would reply in the sense like, that may be true, but I'm still a good person.
Absolutely, but also at the same time, it's going along that same mindset of what you just mentioned for your stream. The fact that you're going to give them another chance to get quote unquote checked or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like these people that come up to try to belittle you have something going on in the background of their life that you don't even know yet. You don't get to see what's going on in their life to make them feel so insecure about themselves that they have to put you down. And that's why it's like that same thing in life. If you have that initial response of quote unquote banning people, you have the choice of who you interact with. You have the choice of people you ignore. The fact, if you can take that same type of mentality that Goku has for his stream, apply that to real life, it takes so much dedication. It takes so much awareness. It takes security beyond all belief, which is where it sounds like Goku and James are definitely headed in that direction, where they're like, not just having to be defined by the people, which is crazy. It's such good insight. Rebirth, are you back? I know we had a little bit of technical. Okay, good. He's still here, guys. All right, Rebirth, can we go ahead and head over to you and get your story?
Yeah. Well, obviously, growing up all my life, like when, as James was saying, in school, I actually was missing school a lot due to medical health problems, like having surgery and stuff.
Okay.
So I missed school a lot, and the whole doubt of being alone in the hospital did play on my mind a lot, and that's where it started when I was at a very young age, when I was in hospital. And then missing school, I missed year 4, year 9, year 10, due to the fact of having surgery. And when I was going back to school, like, you know how you get the cliques, like the popular kids,
Oh yeah.
and then the kids that aren't popular. Well, I was like the kid that wasn't non-popular popular. So I tried to make friends with those kids and just chill with them, but it was
Okay.
very hard for me to interact because obviously missing school, missing that social interaction. So I always felt alone. That was one of the big things for me. And then obviously as growing up, it's always played on my mind and be feeling worthless and belittled. And obviously got to the point where I didn't even want to take my shirt off if we went swimming because of all the scars. So then people used to take the fun and the piss out of me for it a lot. So yeah, it's a bit of a touchy.
That's
bit
fine.
upsetting.
I totally understand. That is sometimes going back and kind of reliving these memories can be a very, very challenging thing. And again, guys, seriously, can we please? We didn't even. I'm sorry, James. Guys, can we please thank James for sharing? Like, this takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of memories of stuff that is so painful to your core that it really takes a lot to kind of relive that and like rethink about all that stuff again. Now, that being said, Rebirth, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about this. At any point, and I've already told these just so that everybody on Twitch knows as well. At any point in time, I've told these viewers, these guest speakers that we had, to just say, you know what, we're going to talk about this another time. Or I don't really want to touch on that, whatever it is. Whatever it is that they feel uncomfortable with, then they have the complete control over that. And they get to say that, okay? Now, that being said, let's go back to kind of what you really experienced and stuff like that. What age did the bullying start, or the classifying you as the uncool kid? Like what happened there?
I think it was when I originally like was at one school and I actually felt decent there. Like I had the friends, and
Okay.
then because I had the surgery, my parents had to pull me out of that school. And then when I felt good enough to go back, I went back to that school for a few days, and then the next day they sent me to a different school. So I was all out of all sorts. And then that's when it started, when I started this new school. Obviously me missing it, the kids not knowing who I was.
Yep.
They were like, you know when you get that look at, when they look at you in the classroom, like, who is this? And then
Oh,
the
yeah.
whispering starts.
Yep.
It started like that, and I just felt so scared, and because I didn't know anyone.
Yep.
And that's
So
when it started.
It was that feeling alone again, right? You didn't have that support system in place.
Yeah, right, and then it's like,
Guys,
you just had no one to turn to. Which
Exactly.
That was the thing for me.
yep. So guys, please take note of this. Please take note of this. This is a repeated thing in all three stories, guys. In all three stories where there was the feeling of isolation happened, that is kind of how it began. How it all began. When you started feeling so isolated, let me rephrase this. When you were the popular kid at your one school, the one school that you felt pretty good at, how did you view yourself? What did you think of yourself?
Accepted.
You felt like you were accepted, that you
Yeah.
were worth something, you had value
Yeah.
to other people.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like that. Say, for instance, I needed to talk to someone, and there was someone there. Felt accepted. I felt like I had friends. Felt I could turn to someone if needed be. Then going from that to completely not having it.
Yep.
It was not fun.
Now what changed was that support system you really had was taken away. And then you were left all by yourself.
Pretty much.
So that being said, guys, there's another life lesson here. I love us so much. When you tie your worth to other people and you say, oh, I have this friend over here, or I have this friend over here. Remember how we said you can get in those codependent relationships where you tie your worth to what the other person thinks of you. When you don't have a support system, it is so easy to change your thinking. Like literally, what changed the most about Rebirth's experience, guys, was it went from him telling himself that he was worth it because he had that, to all of a sudden telling himself that he was not worth it because he didn't have that. Literally, physically, he didn't change. What changed was the psychological dynamics around him in his life at that time. Now, exactly how Monkey said this, I just want to point this out, guys. It would have literally taken one person to stand up and walk over to Rebirth. Rebirth, would that have made a difference to you if you had one person stand up during lunch and go and like introduce themselves to you?
I think so. Yeah, I think then at least I had that one person that actually acknowledged me and felt like I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And it-
obviously, even nowadays, if you see someone alone, I still think someone should go introduce themselves.
I love it.
Because that person could not have no one in their life, but that small little gesture
Yep.
could the world to them. If it,
It
doesn't
means
mean
the
world to
right.
you.
It means the world to them, right? Which is what we have to focus on, not how it makes us feel. Like we may be a little comfort, we may be a little uncomfortable from that experience, but at the same time, think about how much you're impacting others, guys. We're not here to live inside a comfort zone. This is, oh my God, I could go off on a pet peeve of mine, which is not pet peeve. I could go off on a stance, and I would just be like, my soapbox, guys, is all about comfort zone and how important it is for you guys to get out of your comfort zone, because that is how true growth happens. You got to take that risk. Remember how I said change and risk, those two things? The risk part is getting up out of your lunch seat and going over and greeting a person that's new that you've never met yet. Right? That risk has a lot involved. The only reason why it's a risk, though, is because there's a lot of unknowns. If you knew how it was going to turn out, if you knew what was going to happen, that risk would be eliminated because you know what's going to happen, right? And then it'd be an easy choice. It'd be like, okay, well, if I go do this, then this will happen, and this will happen, this will happen, and we're going to become best friends long term. You don't know that, though. You don't know if it's going to be like that. The risk part comes in the not knowing. You got to take that chance of getting up out of your seat to go introduce yourself to someone that's alone. That is what can make all the difference. Now, at the same time, Rebirth, let's continue your story a little bit.
Okay.
How old were you when you went to that new school? Is that high school?
Trying to think now, because from what it was year 9 for us, so that would be about 13, 14. I'm trying to work out the ages because obviously my school curriculum is different to what you guys have over there.
That's
So it'd be
fair.
between the age of 13, 14 for me.
13. Okay, 13, 14, which is about, I believe, the same age that we began high school over here. So you call it year 9? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, we call it
year 9. So year 9 for him was about to stage, and that is such a crucial part because at the same time of all that change happening, he's also dealing with physical changes too, right? That's when your body starts developing. That's when you start being like, oh, I'm not the same person I was yesterday because all of a sudden I have hair that's going on my arms, or something like that. Like you go through this massive change at the same time. So not only is he dealing with that isolation feeling, but he doesn't have a support system while he's trying to figure out who he even is, right? Because you're changing so much and it's drastically evident.
Yeah.
So that's a really hard thing to experience. Now, as you went through high school, do you feel comfortable kind of talking about how you dealt with that isolation?
Oh, of course, I'm totally open. I will be
Okay.
open. Dealing with the isolation, it was just when I came home from school. You know how people say they have their safety zones, like where they feel safe at. Mine was the bedroom. That's when I used to come home. Used to lock myself away, play computer games. I felt safe, but because I wasn't in that environment, I just felt like I was completely away from it. So that was a comfort zone that I dealt with. But then obviously as getting older, as people would say, that voice in your head,
Yep.
that's when it started getting a lot worse. When
Okay.
the little voice would be saying certain words like you're worthless, you're a burden, then that's when it started on to me getting more and more into the depth into the depression, turning into suicidal thoughts, turning into a lot worse than what it was. I did go through a stage recently as well of suicidal thoughts.
Okay.
I've always had them. I've tried to have counselling, but I found when I had counselling it got worse.
Okay.
I've nearly been self-harmed. So I've nearly self-harmed as well, trying to comfort from it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, let's talk real quick about this. When it comes to the self-harm, guys, this is something that's important to also know, okay? Self-harm comes from a feeling of emptiness, right? Because sometimes when people get this thought in their head, the lack of this sense of emptiness, you're so deep into the depression, isolated, the worthlessness, sometimes it feels better to people to feel pain than to feel nothing. And those are the options of feeling nothing. At least you feel alive when you feel pain, right? That's kind of like the mentality behind it. Now, that's a whole nother topic, and I don't really want to address it quite yet, or on this stream, because it's such a massive topic to really kind of deal with. So I will say this, guys, one of the important things to remember, whether you think it's true or not, your emotions are always going to tell you one thing, but the reality is completely different. You know why it's different than that? Because your emotions skew the way that you see reality. If you have someone caring about you, your emotions can sometimes even be like, oh, well, I still feel alone. Whether I have this one person, I still feel alone. And that's because people need to learn how to feel secure and accepting of themselves. Like, you don't need to change for other people. That is such a massive, massive thing to learn in life. Your worth is not dependent on what other people tell you. You have nothing to apologize for. You have value in life. Now it's up to you whether you take that challenge of putting that value out there for other people. But you can't really do that until you learn how to value yourself. Okay, now that being said, let's continue more on your story. So when you say recently you had these same type of scenarios, thoughts, how recent are we talking?
About a month ago.
Okay, so very, very recent. Okay. What I would...
Yeah.
Okay, that's totally fine. And we're not here to do the counseling because I don't want to be like, hey... I don't want to, first of all, make it any worse for you. And secondly...
it's alright.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make it worse for me, dude.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. So... What I would challenge that situation with, guys, behind what I would think on my side of this, I don't know all the story, I don't know all the situation, so I can't be like, this is what's going on, right? Because there's so much to get to understand anybody's type of experience in life. What I would say is just make sure you have that support system in place, that you're not casting your worth on one person or a support system you have in place. You got to learn to love and accept yourself, because you have a gift. You have a gift that you guys need to explore. Whatever it is, I don't know. That's up for you guys to determine what it is and explore that on your own, okay? My gift that I would probably say my gift is the relational aspect. And actually, this is probably what most everyone's gift is here with Goku, James, and Rebirth, is that they have this gift of being able to relate with people, which is why they're here. They do Twitch. They relate to people. Each one of you guys have a gift, and it's up to you on how you want to use it. It's up to you on how much you want to grow that gift, how much you want to give out to the people out there. And then that comes from those two things again. You guys ready for that? Change and risk again, because you have the ability to stay in your comfort zone. You have your ability to stay there. You have your ability. These three, Goku, James, and Rebirth, all had their ability to not show up for this and be safe in their comfort zone. Yet what are they doing? They're getting out in front of 100 people right now. They're telling their story. That's not comfortable, guys. That's not being safe. That's taking a risk, because literally any second, anyone in chat could start saying whatever they wanted and start trolling. There's always a risk. There's always a risk. But the result of that risk is more worthwhile than staying in your comfort zone and bottling it up and not expressing it, which is why it's so awesome to have him here. Now, let's talk more Rebirth. Tell me a little bit more as far as how do you combat those thoughts? When you get those thoughts, what happens to keep you from following through with them?
Well, the biggest thing is, I would say, obviously, I've got my partner Jodie and my beautiful daughter Olivia Rose.
Okay.
So obviously, it's this safety measure I have. Like in my wallet, I'll always have a photo of Jodie and a photo of Olivia. So if I ever get to that stage where I feel like I'm about to break down and have these thoughts, I will pull them out. I will look at them and think how lucky I am to have these people in my life.
Oh, you're giving me chills, dude. You're giving me goosebumps right now.
Sorry, dude.
No,
keep
going.
It's like, for instance, if I'm feeling suicidal or something, I will quickly grab my wallet, open up it, and I'll look at the photos and remember these times. So, like, obviously, always worrying that I'm never good enough for them both, but then knowing that Jodie has stuck around me for the last nearly 3 years and she supported me so much.
Wow.
And then I have Olivia, who's my beautiful daughter, who I don't want to leave her fatherless, so I want to see her grow up. So they're the two safety measures I have in my life.
Okay.
Plus, obviously, I've got my family, but they're very big in my heart.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. So that's what's called a coping mechanism, guys. There are tons of different ways you can actually find to cope. There are unhealthy ways and there's healthy ways. The unhealthy ways are ways that kind of just, they don't address the issue, and they basically don't help you improve, such as self-harm, substance abuse. Substance abuse is like drugs. Even alcohol can be used as a way to kind of cope with all the stresses in life, right? It is that never is the solution to the problem. Never the solution. You're not going to get better doing those things. What's going to get better, because over time, guys, you may be able to stuff it down for a little bit. It's going to keep getting piled on. It's going to keep getting bigger and bigger until it finally mounts up to the top of whatever you think you can handle, and you will crash, you will break, and you will burn, because you need to make sure and have the support systems in place. You got to have that safety net of learning how to love yourself, how to be accepting to yourself. And that looks like different for everybody. So I can't be like, this is how you do it, guys. Just do this simple step and boom, there you go. Magically, you're all okay. It's not that simple. I wish it was that simple. I wish I had the answer for you guys. It's not that simple. Okay. But at the same time, Rebirth has another coping mechanism. His is the wallet and looking at pictures. The reminder that he is loved and he is cared and he is valued. That's amazing. That is something that is cherished. Again, guys, in each one of these situations, think about the impact people have for a simple choice, one simple choice, and that is to be the person that goes out of your comfort zone to meet somebody where they are. Every single one of you guys have the chance to do that. If you are in a place where you are able to do that, please make that happen. Be that person, guys. Take that risk. You never know. You never know what's really going on inside of a person's head, behind their scenes, in their life, everything like that. Okay? Guys, please say thank you to Rebirth in chat. Rebirth, thank you so much for sharing, man. That's not an easy thing. I understand that. I have some questions now for you guys. So you guys kind of got, everybody here kind of got the behind the scenes look of what the mental health issues were, right? You guys, you get a little bit of understanding of what that is. Now we're going to change focus, okay? We're going to change focus and go towards the mental health and how Twitch can influence it. Because look at where we are. We're on Twitch, guys. We're broadcasting stories that hopefully will impact your guys' lives that you can relate to and maybe learn something from. So, guys, the deep part, the hardest part of kind of breaking it down and being like, this is what I deal with, is kind of over. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and you guys understand what that is. Now we're gonna kind of use the tools. We're gonna learn what tools they've used and kind of hopefully present that to you guys out there on Twitch. Okay, so let's go to Mr. Goku. I want to ask you, if you could go back to a time when you were at your worst, what is one thing you would tell yourself? I want you to describe when I say give me a little idea of, like, when I say we'll go back to your worst, what did that look like for you? What was happening?
Well, I was isolated. I wasn't hanging out with my friends. I was just staying in my apartment, not doing anything.
Okay.
Depressed, not working out, not doing stuff that I enjoyed.
Okay.
Wasn't even really playing video games. It was mostly just watching Netflix.
Okay. So how were you coping with that? Was it drugs, alcohol, just the withdrawal? What was it?
Just isolating myself.
Just isolating. Okay,
being alone.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So basically just being alone. That makes complete sense. Okay. So that's the scenario, guys. What is one thing that you would tell yourself if you could go back to that time?
Just go outside for a walk, because I know when it's even like kind of re-manifesting a little bit now in my current situation in life.
Okay.
It's just like I get too wrapped up in having to do something, and then like, okay, I need to get in shape, and then that's, becomes, oh well, I'm gonna need to change my entire eating habits. I'm gonna have to go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm gonna have to do this, this, and this, and it just snowballs to the point where I don't do shit about it.
Because it's overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I totally get that.
If I could just go back to myself, it's like, hey, just go for a 5-minute walk. It's something. It gets me out of the house. It gives me time to think, and that's how I started, coming back from it and just having that advice, like, hey, dude, just do something, whatever it is, just do something.
Yep. I love this so much. You know why this is such a good piece of advice, guys, that I want you guys to think about? If you guys deal with that same type of a situation, the cycle for depression is withdrawal and apathy, right? So basically, you withdraw yourself when normally if you're invested, it takes effort, it takes energy. If you're depressed, you don't have that energy to be invested. So what does that mean you have to do? When you withdraw, it's like a complete cycle. You withdraw more because you don't have any more energy, and you start realizing how much you're not doing and how bad it is, and it causes you to withdraw again, even further and further, until you go a deep cycle to doing nothing. You have to force yourself. It's literally a choice that you have to make to force yourself to go for a walk. You know why a walk is the number one thing that I always tell my people, the clients I've worked with that have depression? Because it is something that's very simple. Number two, it helps you realize that the world is huge. When you're inside and this is what your bubble involves with, this right here with me by myself inside my house, you are missing so much. You are missing so much of the bigger picture. When you go for a walk, you see things. You see other people's cars. You see other people out there driving. You don't know where they're going. What's their life story? You see people that you probably may never even meet. You gotta go for a walk, guys. Fresh air, also so important and healthy for you guys. You gotta get the fresh air. It helps liven up yourself, helps get the blood flow and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta get that fresh air as well. So it's a lot of small good details all wrapped up in one simple thing. What is that one simple thing? Go for a walk. How simple is a walk? A walk is you open the door, you put one foot in front of the other, and all of a sudden you're making progress with your mental health. I want you guys to seriously think about that. It's crazy. What if you can't walk? Find a way to get some fresh air. Find a way to get a little bit of exercise. Find a way to change stuff. It's like saying, okay, that's a very, very, very good question. It's like going to the gym and saying, this is the one workout you have to do. You can't just do one workout for everybody. What if you have an injury? What if you are missing a limb? What if you aren't able to do something? Like whatever it is, you gotta always modify. It's the exercise and the fresh air. Those two things are the important things to remember. That's what I would totally recommend looking into, guys. A walk is a great way of doing it. If you guys are able to, go for a walk. If it's raining outside, get a coat, go for a walk. Be okay getting wet. Adapt and overcome. Adapting and overcoming is definitely a huge... Resiliency is key. Resiliency is key. The people that you see thriving in life are the people that learn how to overcome challenges. Why? Because challenges will always happen. You know why challenges happen? Because change can't be stopped. Change is going to continue to happen. That risk is going to continue to be needed to be taken. It's how you deal with those that help determine how well you do in life, okay? I try to tell Rebirth to go for walks. Go for a walk with him. Take the kiddo, go for a walk with him. 5 minutes out of your day. Dinner goes 5 minutes later. Whatever it is. Whatever it is, guys, challenge yourself. You're going to get out of that comfort zone, okay? Let's go to James. James. I want to ask you the same question, actually. I'm going to ask you the same question. I want to know, when I say go back to your darkest time in life, when you were at your worst, what did that look like? And I want you to tell me one thing you tell yourself now.
My darkest point was, again, back in middle school.
Okay.
If I could go back and give myself some advice, I would kick my butt into gear and say, you're worth something, make the change, and do something about it.
Whoa.
Don't let this beat you down.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You are worth it, guys. Each and every one of you guys, completely 100% accurate. Totally worth it. Whether you believe it or not, if you could go 5 years from now, if you guys could see 5 years from now and think, what would I be even like? What would that be like for me? What's going to happen in 5 years from now? Who knows? Who knows? But that's a huge thing, guys. Remember that you're worth it, regardless of how you feel. If your emotions say, I'm not worth it, you have to combat those emotions. You have to be like, that inner voice in your head, take control of that voice, guys. Okay? Take control of that voice that we're talking about. Remember that you're worth it. regardless of what your emotions tell you. Now, that being said, we're going to go to the next one. Mr. Rebirth. Good sir. If you could go back or envision, tell me about your darkest times, like when you were at your worst.
Yep.
What would you tell yourself?
My darkest time would be when I was in hospital just before I was about to have a major life surgery, when I had my parents weren't there, I had no one around me. It was like middle of the night, doctors and nurses coming in saying, right, you're going for this surgery. I was feeling scared, alone, worried, depressed, suicidal, because obviously all these bad thoughts playing in my head. If I could go back to that time and say, look mate, you're going to get through it, you're going to have a healthy life, and you're going to have a kid and a wife. That's what I would go back. It's just a reassurance, I would say.
Reassurance, absolutely. But also the bigger picture. When you get in those type of times, you get so focused on that moment right then and there, right? You don't think about... Go ahead. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, like, you know when there's that expression, looking down a rabbit's hole?
Yeah.
Everything around you is just completely crushed to that small little hole.
Yep.
And at that end of that hole was all that stuff that I had feeling. And I was just looking directly at it. But then if I could tell myself to widen that hole to see the bigger picture, what I could see future, that's what I would say.
That's totally what it is. That's totally what it is. Guys, he's touching on a topic that we just mentioned about with the whole going for a walk. Getting that bigger picture, that there is so much that you guys don't even know is going to happen to you as people. There is one thing I can promise you. There is one thing that I can promise you. If you are dealing with mental health right now, if you're dealing with mental issues, with anxiety, depression, whatever it is, the one thing I can promise you guys is that it will get better. In some way, in some shape or form, if you take control of that situation that you're in, it will get better. It might take a lot of time. It may take a lot of effort, more effort than you probably ever even imagine. I'm not going to lie, guys. It's a lot of work getting out of any sort of challenge. It will be worth it in the end, and it will get better. We're going to go to the next one. I want to make this stream really focus on Twitch itself as well. We've talked a lot about life lessons, life coping skills, mechanisms, stuff like that, which is awesome. Let's move a little bit more towards the gear of Twitch. Talk to me real quick, guys, about what it was like as you started streaming, as you started thinking about getting into streaming, putting yourself out there on webcams, playing games, talking with people. Goku, can you tell me what that was like for you getting started in that?
I didn't want to do it at all. It was actually a friend of mine who convinced me just to do it because my internet was better than his.
Okay.
Me and him in Destiny, we had a raid team that we raided with consistently. We all became friends and hung out like every day on Destiny and whatnot. But me and him were the only two that were really into PvP. So we started playing Trials, but we never had a third person. So we were like, well, we're pretty good, so let's find people to do it.
Okay.
And he's like, well, people on Twitch are looking for that. I'm like, okay, well, let's use it for that. So I would just turn it on. I didn't really talk to chat. I just turned it on and played. And then the first person said hi. And then like I started talking to that person, and I started to get that social interactive juices flowing, like, hey, this person could be my friend.
Okay.
Like, this is kind of cool.
Okay.
And so I just did that for a little while, and then I had made friends from other chats that I've been in on Twitch. You know, like you hang out in the same channels for a while, you start to get to know the people that are there.
Yep.
And because I had stopped doing it for a while, just because he stopped playing, so I had no reason to stream. They were like, yo, you should try it like on your own, just try it out.
Okay.
So that following January, I started it. I had a cheap laptop, so I started on there, so start getting the alerts and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wanted a face cam. I didn't want to put my face on camera because I felt this was going to bring on a slew of insults, and you know, that whole self-doubt thing. And eventually they donated money to my channel. They're like, you go buy a camera now. I'm like, oh shit, all right.
Okay.
So I did that, and then started streaming with a camera for a while, and then it's just evolved since then. Just become more confident in myself because of people I've met on Twitch. It's kind of cool. Now it's to the point where I don't care, and I'll just make a complete ass out of myself on stream just to get a laugh, and it's like I'm not embarrassed at all, which is awesome for me because it's like the one place I feel it's really acceptable to be who I feel like I truly am, just a weird dude,
right?
And that's really nice. So it's kind of nice how it's come from being shy, just putting myself on the internet, to now where it's like I can just log on and be myself and be a complete, just have fun, be goofball and have fun playing video games with people.
Yep.
Like, it's awesome.
That's legit. That's totally legit. So you put yourself in an environment, and it's created this sort of sense of freedom that you no longer have to put on a facade of who Goku is in front of people. You get to be however you want to be, and that I guess the ripping off of the fake mask type deal is very relieving, right?
Well, yeah, and it took time to get there. Like for the whole time I was on Destiny, pretty much, maybe the last few months, I didn't necessarily, wasn't fake, but I felt like I needed to fall in between these lines of neutral, where I didn't want to offend anybody, and I was providing a service for people that would come into my chat, so it was kind of like a customer service type.
All right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yep, that totally makes sense.
And it's the same way I was in my real life, but at one point I got tired of doing it, and then everybody stopped showing up for streams that I thought were friends, and like you go through this whole mental thing where it's like, oh my god, I wasn't really good enough this whole time, like, oh my, everybody hates me. So then, like, that gave me an opportunity to be like, hey, you're having those thoughts again, you need to do a little work on yourself right now. So take a little time off, figure everything out, get my head right, and then come back. And then I just started being myself. I was like, fuck it, I don't care if you're not going to show up, why does it matter? So as I started getting that fuck it mentality on Twitch, it started transitioning into my real life. And now when I go out in public, I'm less likely to be an anxious mess and just be more of like, I'm weird and I don't care.
Okay. That makes complete sense. So what I want to ask you real quick is, if you go back, I want you to take yourself back into the same mindset of starting out on Twitch, okay? Pretend you're just about to meet that first person, right? You're going to hit that start stream button. What is the piece of advice you give yourself getting as you started streaming that day? If you could go back from where you are today and say something to yourself when you hit that first start stream button, what would you say?
Just don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about followers, don't worry about viewers, they'll come. Just stream because you have fun. And honestly, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, as it keeps Twitch what I need it to be in my life, is a fun place and not a stressful one.
Yep.
I think that's
so. It was here's guys, we're gonna break this down real quick, okay? You know what's going on in this right here? It's a sense of control, okay? When you have that sense of controllessness, it's scary at first, right? That's what Goku is talking about. Is it when you have control over how people view you, when you do that, the customer service, you have a lot of control over how people view you. Now, when you take that control away and be like, this is the real me, that's not quite as safe. That's taking a major risk. But from what it sounds like it was worth it to get to that place where you're okay with being secure in who you are.
Yeah.
It's pretty legit. James, talk to me, bro. I want to know what was it like getting into streaming for you? What was it like when you first started?
When I first started, kind of like a little bit of a background on what got me wanting to start. So my best friend Mark he's been there that's my best friend for years, since high school. And it's been a dream of mine to just stream and provide free content for people online. And he decided one day that he was going to build me an entirely new computer. I wanted to start streaming, Diablo. That was the most played game that I have, and then go into Warframe, but I just couldn't do it with the components that I had in my computer. And he sent me entirely new PC parts for my birthday this year. And I put all of it together, got all my stuff ready, put a cam on. And when I thought to myself about putting the camera on, I thought, people are going to see me. They're gonna see my face,
Mm-hmm.
and you're subjected to people, wanting to be judgmental
Mhm.
on looks and
Yep.
things like that.
Yep.
And told myself, you are opening yourself to this, James. Like, you're opening yourself to people being judgmental based on how you look. They
Yep.
don't care about your personality. They don't care about anything else. They just care, oh, this is the guy I'm watching, I'm out.
Yep.
And that's the kind of vibe that you get when you put on a face cam. Now, I used to be a very compulsive liar when I played online games with friends. And there's two people in particular that I wish were here, but, military duties and family,
Mm-hmm.
is Mark and Ryan. Like, they know me for me, like who I used to be and who I am today. Is
Okay.
being a very compulsive liar and trying to make myself look bigger than I really was.
Mhm.
In actuality, no, I was not like that at all.
Right.
And I just wanted people to like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of broke out of that and admitted, like, you can't lie to people, because when it comes down to it, they're gonna find out the truth either way.
Okay.
So I started streaming, and it blew my mind. It opened me up for being more honest, being more truthful to myself, to my family, to my friends, and meeting so many different people and their backgrounds. And it took off. Like, I found my hobby. I found, like, the dream that
Okay.
I've wanted since I was a kid. And I met so many good people through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an experience of my whole life. It's
So-
just
Yeah, for sure. And I totally understand that. What you're kind of describing, it seems like it kind of sounds very similar to what Goku was saying. Is like you had that same experience of you started out with you had a choice, right? You had a choice to present yourself in a very certain way. But you can eventually, and I actually learned part of this in streaming too, guys. This isn't me looking at them and be like, oh, I can't believe you guys didn't have it all together. When I hit that start streaming button, guys, I had it all together. No, if you guys were there, you would know how much of a mess I was. Okay, like, for real. I had the exact same type of scenario where I was just worried about how people perceived me, what people thought. I cared so much about what people thought of me. It was ridiculous. Okay. I may or may not have given people platinum for, like, hey, like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had that much of, like, doubt in myself when I first started, of being like, hey, do this, and maybe they'll like me. So absolutely, I put up with trolls. I put up with people in my stream. The biggest thing that I remember from my stream, guys, is I had this guy come in, and I was streaming a game, and every time he would insult my plays and everything that I did. He would insult me no matter how good of a play I did, how bad of a play I did. I would put up with him because I just wanted that viewer. I clung on to him. And that's the codependency that we're talking about, guys. When you cling on to somebody, like, you really want that no matter how it impacts you, that is not okay. That is not okay. But regardless, for the longest time, when I first started out, I would get maybe like 2 viewers. Maybe. I clung on to this dude that would be like, insult you, make you feel bad about yourself, not appreciate who you are. Then all of a sudden one day I realized when I got other people in here, and it literally took me getting more viewers, and it's like all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I don't need this dude around anymore. I don't need the constant insults. And it sounds like James Streams, I want to clarify, it's not the joking. He was not the joking, making fun of, okay? Like, this was legit calling me names, and it was awful. It was straight up god awful. It was not like the trolling that you guys see on channels. Like, my stream, I have trolls all the time. I'm part of a troll myself. It's part of what we do. But it was not it was directed negatively. It wasn't that positive trolling where you can joke around, whatever. It was very much a negative, insulting troll. And those type of things are something you get to choose as a streamer yourself on what type of environment you want to create, the people you want there in your streams and stuff like that, in your communities. And I finally realized when I got to the point of like, you know what? I don't owe this guy anything. It will be okay. I'm gonna lose a viewer today, guys. I'm gonna literally lose a viewer today, and I'm gonna go back down to 1 viewer instead of 2. The day that I made that choice to be like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna put up with this any longer, was such a massive relief for me. I don't know why that moment sticks out to me. Like, when I was thinking about starting streaming, that's what popped in my head. That's what came to my mind, is the freedom to be like, you know what? I don't owe you anything. I don't need to apologize for what I've done. It's just that I need to start choosing better community. The difference between building a relationship with someone and kidding versus making fun of someone. Exactly right, Monkey. Thank you very much for putting words out there for me. That's a great way of phrasing it. So yeah, that's kind of like when I was like, so right there, guys, is a great example of something. James, thank you for spurring that. I don't mean to take over. I appreciate you sharing that. That totally just it brought it to my mind. I'm like, oh my god, it's like I totally get this. Now that being said, guys, it's very much like what Goku said. You get to choose who you are on. You get to choose who you present yourself to be. You get to choose this in life, not just on stream, but in life as well. When you go and present yourself to people, you're a different version of yourself. You get to reinvent yourself every moment of every day. When I go to work, I present myself different than I do on stream. A little bit more. I'm not as loud and obnoxious. I am a little more reserved, and I try to be a little bit more professional. Now that being said, there's also a time and place for everything, and I get that. But you get to choose who you present yourself to be. On Twitch, it allows you to be whatever you want to be, whoever you want to be. The freedom to be yourself, and just have that release of like, you know what? This is me. There you go. Rebirth, let's go to you, man. I want to hear about what it was like for you getting started in streaming. What was that like for you?
Terrifying.
Tell me more. I love the word terrifying to start off the story.
It's like I didn't have the best internet and I didn't have the best computer, like what James was saying about like with his computer and stuff. So obviously I wanted to stream because I was one of my friends. And they were like, "Oh yeah, you should totally like stream like with your personality." And I was like, I don't know, would people like me? So I started streaming. Didn't put a cam on at first because I thought, no, I don't want to do that. And then eventually, like you know, you get like where you sit there and you think, oh, no one's watching me. Oh god. I don't want to do this anymore. I felt to myself, I'll stick it out. And then I put a cam on, and then I didn't have a green screen, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to make my streams a little bit more professional to build myself up. And it did take me a good year to get to where I am now, and I still worry about where I'm at, but then I had to deal with a lot of bullying still through the Twitch community, people trolling me, being very toxic to me. I had friends that I thought were friends, but they weren't. They were just using me to advertise their streams or be on my streams to advertise themselves when I would like be right back. Then I had to change. I had to be stern. I couldn't be this friendly person to everyone. I had to step my foot down, and I think once I did that, I lost a lot of people who were supposedly my IRL friends. So I've had to deal with bullying, like I said, in Twitch and off Twitch. But then I think the biggest transaction I found for me was going from what I was playing to Warframe because of the community. And like I've met James, Goku, you through it. And the friendly responses I've had from you guys have helped me progress and want to do what I'm doing. In a way, if I can say that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm proud to say that I had a little bit of influence on that. I just like, guys, it's a choice. It's a choice to go out there, and that's the reason why whenever I do stream, I like to go out and like meet new people. I like to go and be curious about people. Like on the intro video, I don't know if we saw people hanging out. Just so you guys know, we're gonna be closing stream in about 20 minutes, so we're gonna be wrapping up here very soon. But that being said, with the intro to the stream that we did today, one of the things that I thought was super important is the message that you guys are not just a screen name to us. Like, we get to learn who you guys are. We get to learn about you. We get to learn your personalities through text sometimes. And yes, sometimes there are the friendly trolls out there, and I get that. Most of them come from James's stream, from what I understand. Now, that being said,
wait, what about my stream?
they were just saying how it sounds like your stream when I was talking about trolls and stuff. So I was saying that.
Oh,
it sounds
my.
like, I don't know. Anyway, now that being said, we want you guys as viewers and as other fellow streamers out there to know that you are not just a screen name to us. The fact that you guys are here means the world to us. we care about you guys. We cut times out of our day to come and hang out with you guys and hopefully give you guys encouragement. That's what the goal is as streamers, right? We could get on here and stream, okay guys, I'm here streaming a game, blah blah blah, whatever, at the end of the day. Every day, clock in, clock out, we're here for the money. No, that's not the route that any of these streamers in here with me today take. Okay, it's about the relationships that you can foster, the things you get to learn about things, asking questions about people. I love being curious about people. That's what makes it so amazing. Now, we're gonna go to the next question. Because we are down to about 20 minutes left. I have a few more questions, so we're gonna try to make this happen. Guys, can I just say right now that from all the goosebumps I've gotten today just from listening to these stories, this is going to be something that I want to put on again. Like, I want this to happen again. I think that there is so much potential and there's so many more topics that we could totally address. But today we're going to keep this focus on mental health and Twitch. Now here's a fun story, guys. I had a viewer tell me that they were thinking about getting into streaming, but they weren't sure, but they really wanted to be here because they want to learn about what this was even going to be like. Goku said some very wise things when he posted me to Discord, and it's when I saw him post this, I got a little excited, a little secretly excited. I just didn't tell him. He said that Twitch isn't the ultimate fix to issues. It's more of a potential tool that people can use. So the question I'm gonna be asking is, being that Twitch isn't the ultimate fix for what you deal with, what you struggle with, and everything like that, what are some things you do as a streamer to help keep yourself healthy for streaming? Because you could easily get into that withdrawal pattern and just go down slope and just keep that going. Real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and address a comment real quick. Llama, welcome on in. By the way, I know you're in here for a while. I love that you're here. Maybe next time, she mentioned that maybe next time if you do this again, you could have some female streamers share their experiences too. I would love to. Unfortunately, I don't really have a platform to be like, hey, streamers, pay attention because I want to do this event. This was something I tried to get as many people involved in. I just didn't really have a platform or a stance on. If you want to come on and have a chat with us sometime for one of these shows, I would love it. I seriously would love it. But I don't want this to come across as like I want only dudes on here, because I think the more diversity we can celebrate and learn from, the better it is for everybody. And I totally agree with that. I would love to have some female streamers. I'm sorry that we didn't get any on today. I didn't have any feedback from anyone that said they wanted to join, and I don't want to be going to people and be like, hey, get involved in this, be vulnerable with us, and tell us your life secrets when they don't feel comfortable. So that's gonna be something that I'm gonna put it out there again when we do this again. And maybe you guys can DM me. If you guys DM me in Discord and be like, hey, maybe sometime I'd love to be a part of this, that's great. But I don't want to go forcing people and make them feel awkward or uncomfortable. I want this to be very comfortable. Don't need to be sorry, it wasn't meant as a criticism as all. Okay, awesome. I didn't take it as a criticism. I just wanted you to know that I was just trying to do my best to make people feel welcomed, and just invite people that felt like strong enough to share. So that being said, we're gonna go back, continue the question. Being that Twitch isn't the ultimate fix for what you deal with, what are some things you do to keep yourself healthy for streaming? Let's go down the list, guys. Goku, what do you got, man?
I've got a few things, actually. I'm gonna start off with the most important thing I think anybody with a mental health disorder can do for themselves.
I'm excited. Let's go. What is it?
Get some sleep.
No! You're talking to streamers about getting some sleep right now?
I'm serious, man. It's the most important thing I've ever done to myself. I reset my sleep schedule. And if you're looking for a way to do that, if you struggle with sleep, I know it's kind of coincides with the whole disorder thing. Look up a TED Talk called Why Do We Sleep? There are 3 tools in there that will help you reset your sleep cycle. And if you actually do them, they're a bit ridiculous and kind of hard to get yourself to do, but if you do them, you can sleep. I guarantee it.
Can anyone out there in Twitch chat find a link for that? TED Talk on, what is it called?
Why Do We Sleep?
Why Do We Sleep? Can someone find me the link and post it in chat for us? All right, so the first tip you have is get some sleep. What did you see?
The next one.
What did you see? What did you see from implementing that into your habits?
The negative self-talk was a bit quieter.
Okay.
I'm not tired. Like it didn't take as much mental energy just to get myself to do something because I wasn't tired. When you're tired, your brain, especially like for me with anxiety, when I'm tired, my brain just goes at me a lot harder than when I'm fully rested and ready to face the day.
Awesome. What's your next tool?
It's kind of a 2-part thing. It's meditation and mindfulness. Those two things go kind of hand in hand. I get a lot of resistance for some reason when I recommend meditation to people because like, oh, I've tried it, doesn't help. That means you didn't really try it. They probably did it 1 or 2 times, and it's just like, this is boring, I give up. I recommend finding guided meditations on YouTube. There's tons of them. There's meditation music on Spotify, and just find a place to sit. And what that really does for me is with my anxiety, it lets me separate myself from my thoughts. It makes me realize that, I can point out that I'm having negative self-talk. I can separate it from being an emotion and just letting it be a thought that just goes through my head. And I can play with that thought. I'm like, okay, so why am I thinking this way? Okay, what do I need to do for me to help this feeling, or what's missing? It separates me a little bit. And to go with that, if you do anything today, if you're really like anxious, just put on a YouTube video by Alan Watts, whatever one it is. Just listen to the guy talk. He's he was a comparative religion teacher in the Bay Area in the 60s. And he just has these really great like Buddhist, like Zen Tao type talks that are just really calming and really helpful just to kind of forget where you are for a little while.
Okay, well, I'm glad that works for you. That's awesome that you found those tools for you. For everyone, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Can
I
I
say the last
this?
one is exercise.
Before the last one's exercise. There you guys go. So, sleep, time away, exercise. Now, I want to address a topic, a comment real quick on Twitch. Meditation feels impossible with ADHD. I agree with that, and this goes back to the modification thing. Okay, you guys can't just expect to be like, oh, it works for me, so it's going to work for everyone, right? That's not what we're here to say. We're not here to say do this because it's going to work for everyone. Now, what you can do though, what I would recommend doing, maybe you can't just sit down wherever you are and just have that, like, clear your mind from all the negativity and like give yourself that space. What you can do, guys, is modify a little bit. Remember how we talked about going for a walk? You remember that? Go for a walk. 4 words that will change your life. Go for a walk. While you're out there, guys, clear your mind. While you smell the fresh air, focus on other things other than the negativity of the busyness of the world. Take a deep breath in. What do you smell? Look up. What do you see? Look over at the nearest tree. What does that tree look like? It's about grounding yourself. What you got to do is focus on things that can help you out. Trove was saying meditation didn't work for me, but you know what did? Walking, jogging. It's the exercise thing again. Yes, it is. So that's exactly what we're talking about. It's not always about one thing's going to work for everyone. These are just tools that we find that can help. Okay, it's not going to work for everyone, but it can work for some. Okay. Now that being said, the walk thing. Go for a walk. Smell. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Do it one more time. What do you smell? You get what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying? All right. Now that being said, James, let's talk. Being that Twitch isn't the ultimate fix, what do you do for what you deal with? What are some things that you do to help keep yourself healthy for streaming?
So everybody knows that I do ride BMX, and I take the opportunity when I have times off of streaming, like Wednesdays and weekends, to just go explore. Get my bike out, open the garage, and just go somewhere. Just ride, learn my town, find tracks to ride, and along the way, I'm always meeting people that I can associate with outside of streaming and have a good time with. Just getting fresh air, going fast, and just enjoying my time away from electronics and the distractions. It allows me to open my mind and get a bigger picture of what I can do with myself outside of streaming. And it feels so comfortable to be on my bike. Once I touch my bike, it's like, it hits me like I can go anywhere. Like I have the world to myself, and I can
love
just
it.
go
I love it.
without even knowing where I'm going.
This is exactly, so you guys just heard him describe what this experience is like for him. Okay, BMX is not my thing. I can't do it. I wish I was as good as James. I wish I could. I can't. I sent him a picture. I have a hybrid bike, guys. I don't have a cool BMX bike. But that being said, I love to go outside and go on my bike as well. And when you go fast, it almost like forces you. Like you have to focus and be attentive to the here and now, right? You can't be off thinking about whatever you want while you're riding your bike, because the next thing you could know, you're going to be running into a freaking vehicle. Okay, right? It's about that. It's about the experience in the here and now.
That goes along with the lines of going fast too, especially when you're riding a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally true. Going fast, it forces you to focus on something other than the negativity. If your voices in your head are so loud to you and you can't get away, and if quiet makes it worse and it doesn't help you, that means don't do quiet. Force yourself to do something else. Go exercise, go lift weights, go ride your bike fast. Do something that forces you to ignore your negative thoughts and focus on something else. Because you know what? At the end of doing whatever it is that you're doing, you're gonna all of a sudden be like, whoa, this is a relief. What is it like when you finish riding BMX?
Well, considering how the bikes are built for you to not sit down, you have to constantly be standing.
Okay.
So that's where I get a lot of exercise, is constantly just standing and riding. But when you're going fast, especially on a BMX bike, you always do have to be aware of your surroundings. You can't get out on the bike and think, oh, I have the world. I can do anything.
Okay.
Your life is still at stake because things can happen.
Right.
Trust me, I've been in that situation. I've been almost hit by multiple cars.
Yep.
I've severely injured myself.
Yep. I totally believe that.
It's when you come back, you think, I had a great session. Like,
right. But while you're in that,
I had a great time.
What do you think that while you're in there doing it?
I think of a lot of things. I think of my life.
Because,
like I said,
flashing
fast,
before my eyes. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It can happen. Yeah. And the things that I think about when I'm out riding is, what I'm doing, like as far as like my stream, how much is progressing, how many people I've met, like what I said earlier, and just what I can do to make it better, or
that's
just
awesome.
Improvement on even life.
Yep.
And it just gets me away from electronics and distractions, where I can think about those things.
That's amazing.
And I can be by myself and just adjust to whatever changes that I need to make my life better for myself.
That's a great tool. See, we have people on both ends of the spectrum, guys. That's why we say these are tools for you to learn about. These are tools that you can potentially use. Rebirth, we got to address this, bro. We got 9 minutes left of the stream. I want to know, being that Twitch isn't the ultimate fix for what you deal with, what are some things you can do to help that you do on a regular basis to keep yourself healthy for streaming?
You said about sleep, trying to keep a good sleep pattern, but for me, keeping myself, it's just once I finish the day of work, come back, have a nice shower, just chill with my daughter and my missus, and then when it's time to go live, I feel happy. And sometimes if I have a bad day, I can vent to her and she listens. Or sometimes she just listens, and then I'll see my kid, put my kid to bed, and make sure she's happy and safe, and then boom.
That makes complete sense. Now, Rebirth, the very first part of what you're saying kind of cut out. What did you say at the very first part that you like doing? It was something about a shower, right?
Yeah, like like how I was saying, like Goku said about sleep patterns.
Yeah.
I found that when I finish work, because my streams are on the night. I come back, have a nice shower.
Okay.
And you just sit there with the shower on you. It's so relaxing. Just puts you in like a zen state, like Goku also mentioned about meditating. Then just seeing my kid, my missus, just put them to sleep, make sure they're all good.
Perfect. Yep. Now I want to address this real quick. I know we don't have a lot of time left in Rebirth. I want to give you a chance to give more insight or whatever to this. But you guys, do you see what he's saying right here? Presenting yourself, putting out the effort. It takes effort to take a shower. You know how many times I walk in the door from work and I sit down, I plop down right here, and I'm just like, man, guys, long day, and I'm stinky. I'm just gonna game. You know what? I don't feel like a complete myself. Like I don't feel completely myself and ready to go. He puts out that effort. It's like dressing for success. When you go to an interview, if you dress, you see the vest, guys? You see the vest? If you dress for success, it helps present that way as well. Okay, it's unbelievable how much psychology are behind putting out the effort to make yourself feel good as well. Okay, now that being said, let's go back to Rebirth. What else? Is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's pretty much how I deal with it. But
Perfect.
also drinking a can of energy drink helps as well.
Also, also the caffeine, guys. This is very true. This is very true.
Considering now I've probably had about a can just to stay ready for this. So it's all good.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. He did some solid work, guys. It is what, almost 2 a.m. for you right now?
No, 1 a.m. because you know how you told me it was midnight, but you really did it at 11 p.m. for me. So.
Okay. So it's almost 1 o'clock for him, guys. It's late. It's late. Now, that being said, I want some feedback. We're gonna go ahead and start ending the stream right now, guys. But before we do this, I want to let me get some feedback from the streamers, guys. This is probably one of my favorite parts, because you gotta have, if you just do stuff and you don't give a chance for like some sort of like feedback and stuff like that, you miss out on a lot of opportunity, I find. Goku, do you have any final thoughts at all that you wanna throw out there?
No, I guess the only thing is, if you have a streamer that you watch a lot and they tell you that their DMs are open and you feel like you need to talk to somebody, don't be afraid to reach out. Like, they don't say that because they are just saying that to put on up front. Like, if they say that, you usually mean it. And It's because they care about you. Like the beginning of this thing says, we view you as more than just a name in the chat. You're a person. We know that, and we want to help you if you need help, or if you just want to say, hey, what's up? How's your day going? That's usually the best feeling. All I get now are glyph messages. If one person was just like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up, man? Like, just don't be afraid to reach out.
Yep, that makes that's awesome. That is so awesome. How was today's stream for you? Talk to me about, what are your reactions? How did you feel during sharing your time? All that good stuff. I just want to hear from you.
I feel it needs to be longer. There's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. I totally agree. You guys, we've been going for 2 hours now.
And it flew by.
Where did this 2 hours go?
Over.
That's crazy. So how was it sharing for you? Was it challenging at all? Yeah.
It's easy. I'm comfortable doing it now.
Okay. That's awesome. I've
gotten to that point in my life.
That's fantastic.
The build-up is harder.
Yes. The anticipation
is the hardest part.
Yes.
I literally was like, there was a point where today I'm like, oh man, I don't really want to do this. And then, it's just, and then I had my moment, went outside, took a breath, like, all right, this is fine. You're just going to be doing what you always do.
Right. Guys, can we just, everyone in chat, tell Goku how much you appreciate him being here today, for making that choice to be here? James, how was today for you, man? How was today for you?
Well, between trying not to cry and smiling at the same time, like, it's different when you're able to sit here and just talk and be honest with people. Like, it's so reassuring.
We're not even playing video games right now. We're not even playing video games. We're literally sitting here and chatting.
It feels very comfortable, and it's satisfying to tell people your story and be honest. It's great. It feels amazing.
Mm-hmm. How was the anticipation for you? Was it challenging at all?
It was very challenging.
Okay.
It was very challenging.
Talk to me about that. What is that?
Like you're talking about.
What did it look like for you?
Having to still adjust and feel build up the courage to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
You say you're so open, but then, like Goku was saying, the anticipation is what drives you, and it worries you a little bit.
Yep.
And it felt very, very reassuring that I can be open about this, and I'm incredibly open about these kinds of things now, and want to spread the knowledge to other people that there's alternatives to cope with these kinds of things, and to tell people that the way that I am now is absolutely remarkable, and it makes me feel so good about myself.
I hope you guys have Twitch chat open right now.
I do.
I hope you guys are looking at that, because I seriously appreciate you guys for being here. Rebirth, how was today for you, man?
Yeah, I've actually enjoyed it. hearing everyone's experience and not feeling that I'm not the only one that's not alone. And
You're not.
hearing this.
Suddenly, it's
know,
like, what in the world? There are people like me in this world? You
Yeah.
think you're crazy until. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, just before the stream started, as like the others have said, like, I'm sat there going, no, I'm not, oh no, and then like you come in and it's like you start talking. Like, yes, I did feel at one point I did feel very bottled up, like I felt like I was gonna cry. And I was like, deep breath, it's okay, and then boom. It's been a really good experience, and I would like to do it more.
This is amazing, guys. This is
And it's been an
seriously
honor
so
to have,
amazing.
obviously, it's been an honor to be on the show, and obviously with James and Goku as well.
Absolutely.
Listening to them.
Absolutely. Guys, this is our chance. This is your life. This is your chance to make a choice for your life. You can be that person to impact people. You can be that person to take that chance, that risk, to get out of your comfort zone, to get out there and meet people. You know how uncomfortable it was for me to go to these people. I just posted on I took a risk. I posted on Twitter. I was like, you know what, guys, I'm going to try to do a mental health talk show. I didn't know if I was going to get any volunteers. I thought everyone would be like, you know what, that's dumb. Nobody's going to want to be there for that because that's just like talking and you're not playing video games in the background. How are you going to keep people's attention? We have had over 100 people sitting here watching this. Chat is going off the chain. People sharing their stories, people being vulnerable. How amazing is this, guys? How amazing is this? I don't know about you guys, but I would seriously love to see this grow. More opportunity for people to be involved with different stories, different tools, and to keep coming back to the point of, you know what, we're in this together. While you may feel like you're kind of alone in whatever you're dealing with, you're not. You are not alone. You have at least 4 streamers involved today that care about you guys as people. We have so many streamers out there that are also present. That I've watched Twitch chat go by, and I've seen so many streamers pop in today. And it's unbelievable. It's seriously unbelievable. Thank you to each and every one of you guys for being here. We're going to keep doing life together, guys. It doesn't end today. It doesn't even end today. You get to keep making these choices. You can keep doing your streams. Goku, James, Rebirth. The last thing we're going to end with today, guys. One of the things I love doing. Goku, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years from now?
I live my life one day at a time. Is that acceptable?
We're going to come back to that on another stream, guys. We're going to call him out for that on another stream. All right, going to the next person. James!
We're talking about living in the now, right?
We are talking about living in the now. Absolutely.
Hey,
All
there's
right.
really nothing wrong with thinking about the future too, you know.
James, talk to me. What
I
does it look like 3 to 5 years from me? What do you think?
Well, for being a shut-in and getting my life forward, you know, I kind of see myself continuing doing what I'm doing, getting out more, settling down with a beautiful woman, and pushing my life forward.
That's great.
And
Rebirth?
still staying true to Twitch.
It's still staying true to Twitch. I love it. I love it. Rebirth, talk to me, bro. Where do you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now?
Well, I ain't going nowhere off Twitch, so you can guarantee that.
We're stuck with you, huh?
Yeah, I'm staying.
I'm okay with
Rebirth,
that.
Rebirth Reborn, you know, I'm
I
still
love
here.
it. I love it.
I'm going to be, hopefully, me and my wife, well, fiance, will get married, and we might have another beautiful children.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's what I'm looking forward to in
Guys,
a couple of years.
I love doing life with you. Thank you for being here for part of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to go ahead and end stream now, guys. A huge shout out to all you viewers that came by and hung out all day. Guys, what a powerful stream today. What a powerful stream today. I'm going to can we go ahead as the 4 of us, we're